Hey folks, Deano here again. This time, taking a look at a figure that, until recently, quite honestly, I had no intention of buying. But yeah, I managed to get an actual good deal on him on AliExpress through one of their sales. So yeah, thought I would grab him to review for you guys. This is the TonsenartToys Unbound Wrath Warped Vengeance 06B, otherwise known as Bojack Trunks battle damage version, to me anyway. Personally, I think without the jacket he looks more like the Broly movie version, but that's just me. But yeah, I can't attribute my purchase solely to myself. There was a subscriber, Logan, if you're out there, I'm calling on you. Yeah, he basically convinced me to get it. And I'll be honest, I am glad he did, because I really, really like this guy. Aside from 06A, he might probably be my favourite figure in the collection now. Like, there's something about him that just looks so good. Even for, like, I know at this point we've had 4 versions of the same Trunks, just slightly different. But yeah, I don't know if it's the battle damage or that beautiful pale yellow hair. But yeah, I really like this guy. If I can find a link in the description, if I can find a link, sorry, to him for a decent price, I will leave it in the description. He's pretty much sold out everywhere though, unfortunately. That's just how these TonsenartToys figures go. For some reason, Kid Boo's still readily available though. Not sure how that happened. They probably should have put more resources into the Trunksies, but hey-oh. But yeah, let's get him off the turntable and take a look at the box. Oh, and by the way, link will also be in the description for the Demoniacal Fit one, which I believe is coming soon. That'll be through El Surprise Wholesale Toy Store. And also a link to some silicone oil, because if you're getting this guy, as with most of the Tonsen Trunksies, you'll probably need some silicone oil. I did for the neck peg and for the shoulders. So yeah, let's get into the box. So in terms of the box, it's pretty much the same as all the other TonsenartToys Trunks boxes. Very compact. They get a lot of stuff into these small boxes, which I suppose really saves on shipping. Not sure why other companies don't do this. People don't care about big massive boxes. I'm quite content with this. It does its job. It got it to me in one piece. I even got a nice shipping box, which some of them came with a shipping box, some of them didn't. Not sure why. I think the sellers were trying to save that extra couple of pence to ship it. But yeah, thankfully, no issues because of that. So yeah, in terms of the box, we have Unbound Wrath, Warp Vengeance, TonsenartToys, and TonsenartToys Custom 06B, reference only, blah 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 blah, warning label, a nice picture of him on the side here, very Figuarts reminiscent in terms of the packaging, and on the back, just the same picture, again, a disclaimer down there, and for some reason 2 more warning labels, one small, one large. Not entirely sure why. You really didn't have to fill every void, Tonsen, honestly. But yeah, standard box. Let's get on to the accessories, of which there are a lot. So in terms of accessories, I will split this up into 2 segments. I feel as if I'm doing that more often these days. Standard accessories, including the hands, and then we'll look at the heads and faces that it comes with right after. So yeah, in terms of accessories, quite frankly, this guy comes with a ludicrous amount, as did all the TonsenartToys ones. They are great value for money, especially at retail price. But yeah, following the tradition of all the TonsenartToys Trunks to date. It comes with a slightly different array of accessories than the rest of them, just to give you that little bit extra edge in purchasing them all. So the main difference for this one is we get a sword, but it's actually a broken in half sword. You also get this sort of beam effect. People are still calling it a smaller sword of hope. It really isn't. It's more just like the beam effect that you put on before the actual sword of hope, otherwise known as the spirit sword. Don't know why everywhere calls it the sword of hope when it's clearly a spirit bomb inside the sword. But yeah, slightly different wrapping in that it's blue. Not sure why they did that. Possibly to try and like hint at the fact that this is meant to be Dragon Ball Super Trunks' version. But yeah, at certain points in the Dragon Ball Super anime, Trunks' beam sword did glow blue. Most of the time it was yellow, which quite honestly I would have probably preferred, but this is still quite nice. It pops on and off really easily. And yeah, you can see there's some really nice detail there in the broken sword, which makes it very unique. It won't fit inside the sheath with the beam effect attached. You do have to take that off to put it in there. The sheath itself is the same as we've got before, same colour as 06A, and that it's the sort of official colours that Tamashii went with, the orange and blue, and you get two of these sort of straps. Same deal as with all the other Trunkses. You slot that in there, like so. Pop that in, and then there's a nice magnet down the bottom, so you'd have to fidget with a peg down there. Really nice, do like that. And obviously you get a strap for with the jacket and one without, just so it fits either way. We also get a unique accessory in this with the key balls, or key blasts. Really nice. Just standard stuff. They have sort of whitish spray on top, and they do peg in to these unique hands with pegs. For some reason the pegs are a different size than like the standard that we're used to with Figuarts. Not sure why they did that, but I mean at the end of the day these fit most 3.0 and even 2.0 pegs anyway, so you can just leave them on and have them that way. They do also fit on a Tamashii stage, which is nice, so you can have him firing them off. Really nice, do like that. We get a torn up version of his Bojack jacket with the torn off sleeves, which is really, really nice. It's also got this sort of blowing in the wind in this direction sort of effect. So you can see there it's slashed at that point. I'm not sure where this is taken from, to be quite honest with you, because his jacket never got torn up in this way in the Bojack movie. But I would assume it's from, it's one of Bojack's goons, the one with the sword that attacked Trunks. I think we would assume that's where this is supposed to have come from. This nice rip. And on the back, we have this sort of, I'm not sure this is how a jacket is supposed to go. Really these flaps should be like lying down the way as opposed to up. It looks as if like someone's punched him straight in the gut and the blast has went right out his back. But yeah, it's quite nice, and there is some shading on it as well. So you are supposed to have this with the Super Saiyan sort of head on there. Really nice, really soft plastic. I do like it. We get a ton of hands as well. So we get a pair of fists, pair of key blast hands, it's a standard kind, pair of sword gripping hands. These ones are taken straight from the official Boy from the Future Trunks. Pair pair of sort of sheath holding hands, but you do have to use blue tack. I've said it in previous reviews of the TonsenartToys Trunkses. I'm not sure why there wasn't either like a magnet put in these, or at the very least a peg hole, so that you can like at least use one of the attachment methods on the strap, just for him to hold it. Not sure why. It seems like a bit of a lost opportunity, in my opinion. Still decent that it's included anyway. A pair of sort of powered up burning attack hands, and a pair of Big Bang style or Karate Chop style hands. So yeah, still a really nice array of hands there, and you really cannot go wrong with the amount that you get here. So yeah, let's take a look at the heads and faces. So in terms of heads and faces, we get two heads, one base form, one Super Saiyan, and we get three base form heads, or three base form faces, sorry, and 5 Super Saiyan faces. And we get some really unique Super Saiyan faces with this one. Part of the reason that convinced me to get it, to be completely honest with you. Need to complete that set. So yeah, we'll get the base form out of the way first. So you get this head here. Apologies for that, folks. Jump cut. Yeah, I had to quickly go and answer the door. We have a new dog, and she is very noisy. So yeah, starting with the base form here, you may think this is a strange colour, and it is. It's kind of like a peach pink. Yeah, this is actually one of the other reviewers that I watch figured out it's actually a reference to the original Bojack movie on VHS. Yeah, back then the quality was so bad on VHS copies that the colour distorted, and Trunks ended up with a lovely pink hair instead of his usual lilac purple. So yeah, oops, I have just destroyed my set. This is going well. We've had like 5 jump cuts in the space of 5 seconds. But yeah, decent reference. I mean, I kind of wish it would have just been the standard purple again, even if it was a different shade of purple. That way I could have used it normally. But yeah, it's still a cool thing to have. In terms of faces, we have 3. We have the standard base form, standard sort of face. The eyes are bigger like on 6A. We have Smirk, which is like so. Unfortunately, these faces don't really work on like any of the other base form heads that you get from Tonsen due to the like pink eyebrows and stuff, and you do get a teeth gritted face looking forward, which is quite nice. Obviously, I am not doing a comparison to all the different versions of Trunks in this review. That will be in a part 2. I'm currently undecided if I'm going to review that straight after, or do that video straight after, sorry. But it is coming at some point. That's going to be quite a long video. Again, one of my subscribers, Logan, has given me a lot of ideas for that, so shout out to him. In terms of the Super Saiyan heads, we have this one here, which is very nice. It's a big bit of sprue there that I'm going to have to cut off. But yeah, it's really nice. I really didn't think I would like the pale yellow as much as I do, but it is a very nice shade of yellow. To the naked eye, it doesn't look as if there's any shading or highlights, but I could swear there's highlights on the tips of the hair, which is really, really nice. But yeah, still undecided whether I prefer this or the metallic hair. I am still swaying towards metallic because you know me by now. Metallic hair is king. In terms of the Super Saiyan heads or faces, we have the stern face, which is really nice. We have teeth gritted face. Again, quite nice. These are all ones we've seen before so far. This is where we come to the unique faces that come with this. So we have a sort of rage yell, which is, we don't have a yelling face here to compare. I'll do that in the part 2. Yeah, this is actually a different sculpt entirely from the standard yell. You can just about see the pupils there. But yeah, it's more of a rage sort of face. Or he's just been knocked out. Somebody's punched him in the gut so hard he has blacked out, sort of thing. So nice one there. We get a Trunks after being socked in the jaw sort of face. We've seen this with the TonsenartToys Vegeta faces, so it's nice we have one for Trunks as well. Again, really nice, very unique. I do quite like it. And finally, we get a unique face, but I'm kind of on the fence about whether I like it or not. Yeah, this is a sort of shocked expression with the saliva coming out of his mouth, where he's just been punched in the stomach so hard he's had to cough. Yeah, it is nice. Again, very unique face. Always appreciated. Just not sure if I like how they did the saliva, personally. But I'm not really sure how they would have done it any differently. Aside from like a separate piece. But yeah, I think they did as well as they could with what they had. So yeah, really, really nice. So let's get the figure back in here and take a look at it. So yeah, here is TonsenartToys Trunks 06B in all of his glory. And yeah, I have to say, I love this guy. Like, this would pretty much be the perfect figure if Tonsenart had just made the colours of his belt and boots the same colour as 05B and 06A, or at the very least 05As. Because I'm not really fond of this sort of off yellow colour. It's the only thing that really irks me about this guy. But other than that, like, an almost perfect looking figure, I'll be honest. Especially with the jacket on. If we bring in the sword here, just to show you how that works, you take off the magnet, wrap it around, and just like that, have I put the wrong strap on? I may have. Yeah, I have. I've put the wrong strap on. So that is a horrible demonstration by me. Apologies, folks. There we go. Get this one in. Pop that onto the peg. And if we wrap it around like so, you'll see it's just attached just fine. And I had absolutely zero issues putting that on. Absolutely zero. You did not see the last 30 seconds. But yeah, looks really nice. I do like it. Yeah, for this one in particular, I may just be leaving it off because I want to see all these rips and stuff. Speaking of, let's take off the jacket. We'll pop that off. We don't need to, but it does kind of get in the way. Pop that back. If I wouldn't have oiled this prior to review, that would not have been anywhere near as easy as that, by the way. Like, that's purely due to the silicone oil. 100% recommend it. You cannot go wrong with this stuff. Just a dab into the joint and it is completely freed up. Same with that neck. Yeah, but we'll get in that aside. So this is it without jacket, and all of a sudden he's looking an awful lot like Trunks after he's been beaten up by Broly. Unfortunately, there aren't any like cat scratches or blood decals or anything like that. You can do it yourself if you are so inclined. I won't be doing that because I don't really like the blood decals in the first place. But yeah, does look really, really nice. And again, the rip detail is all the way around. We get a special little look here into how that rubber overlay on the jacket is actually put in. There's a slot on the front, and also, well, a slot on the back, and also 2 slots in the front. So yeah, that's partly why this is ripped the way it is. With the Super Saiyan Namek Goku and the Cell Saga Super Saiyan 2 Gohan that Tamashii have put out, the battle damage ones, those are ripped all the way down. Tonsen obviously couldn't do that because of the way these attach. So yeah, I mean, it's a good compromise, and I do like what he did with it overall. I think it still looks really good. But yeah, I might just be keeping the jacket on him, just in general. But yeah, the rips on the knees are really good as well. I'm not entirely sure how he managed it. Like the front of this one in particular, this knee, it's obviously skin tone. It's skin tone plastic. You can see that in there. But if you go to the back, it's the colour of the pants. He could have quite easily kept like the skin tone on both sides, and no one would have been any the wiser. But yeah, he actually put that extra bit of detail into there, which is really, really good. The rip there with the painted skin tone is a little bit off in terms of colour, but it's not really something you're going to notice all that much. So yeah, in terms of articulation, it's your typical Tonsenart Trunks affair, which is insane articulation as long as you can get it moving. So the head, that has actually popped out of the ball joint. That's the first time I've seen that do that. So yeah, you can look up that much. You can look down as well. Lots of pivot because it's a double ball peg. Lots of pivot and angles and such. The neck on this copy is, the lower neck I should say, is kind of stuck in place. It kind of moves, kind of doesn't. Bit of a shame. Arms can go up that far, like so. There is a ball joint in that butterfly swivel there. Be very careful when you're pulling that down. This hinge is still quite tight, even though I have oiled it. Can swivel all the way around, even though the hair doesn't get in the way a little bit. The butterfly joint is very nice. There is a lot of range there, and you use it to its fullest, and you can get probably among the best range of any Figuarts figure, official or third party, to date. I think the only one that even comes close to rivaling it is the legendary Super Saiyan Goku. So yeah, very nice. Butterfly or bicep swivel, bit tight there, but nothing to worry about. Double joint at the elbow, just gets really nice range. The bottom half is this sort of unique style joint, which I really wish other companies and even Figuarts themselves would start implementing. You still get the double sort of a elbow joint, but at the bottom it swivels at the forearm. You can also pop it off, just like the rest of the Trunksies. So if you want, you can have him putting on his jacket that came with 05A and B, which I will be testing out in part 2. Ball hinge at the wrist, standard stuff, is a bit tight. Be careful you don't break that peg. The ab crunch, same with 06A, it snags a little bit, so you do have to push the stomach in order to get that ab crunch, but once you do, you get insane crunch. You also get some back the way as well, which is really good, really good. You get swivel and pivot at the waist, so you can actually use that waist joint in conjunction and get even more range forward, which is really nice. Some people have said you can swivel the abs, but mine's is stuck tight and I don't really have any intention of finding a way into that joint. So yeah, I am content with the waist swivel for now. If it does do that, then that is another joint to consider. Legs can go forward that much. They are kind of on the weak side, like 06A's was, but not in the way that they can actually like be considered loose. They're more like, I think it's Black Hole Toys that does Tonson's figures, or at least they are so far. So they've sort of overcompensated the hip joint because 05A and B were so tight. So they overcompensated for it with this guy. But yeah, still works fine. And you can get the entire splits really easy. Do you like it? And thigh rotation right there. You can kick back a little. The backside does get in the way though, unfortunately. But it is something. Double down to the knee. Gets a better range than the standard figure does, because obviously it's ripped, so there is more space. Really good. Does the other side get as good range, because obviously the back isn't ripped on that. Not quite as good range, but it's still really good. No boot swivel to speak of, but you do get a ball hinge at the foot, which is the same sort of style as the legendary Super Saiyan Goku's, so it can push forward and push back the way to give you more range, whichever way you decide. So you can go forward that much, not too much. You can go back really far though, really good. You get really good ankle pivot, like so, and toe articulation gets almost the full 90. So yeah, all in all, this is an excellent figure. One that I can't believe I almost slept on. Like, honestly, when I seen it for the price I got it for, like I couldn't believe I could get that deal. So I just grabbed it. Buyer's remorse is a thing, folks. But yeah, as I said before, link will be in the description for this guy, the silicone oil, and the demoniacal fit version of this guy, which I believe is coming out soon-ish. I think it's next after the base form Xeno Goku, which I should have in hand probably in the next week or so. So yeah, all in all, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. Stay tuned for the part 2, where I will do an in-depth comparison and head swaps and stuff between all 4 of the TonsenartToys Trunksies, and maybe even the official ones too. So yeah, guys, leave a like if you enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.